Breaking Bridget. WebMD hosted an online depression test sponsored by a pharmaceutical company so that everyone who took the test was told that they were depressed.
This is bananas.
Yeah, it was literally like even if you answered no to every single one of the questions, you were still told you may be at risk for major depression and urge users to call a doctor right away.
That's so dark.
Yeah.
That is like some of the darkest shit I've heard. These are the pharmaceutical companies that we're supposed to just trust and take whatever they freaking offer us. How many examples of all of these places like the CDC and the FDA being captured by big pharma or people who work for big pharma do we need before we have a healthy distrust for the people who are doing these kinds of things like making WebMD? Imagine taking that and you have no depression and you're like, I'm just going to double check. And then you're like, oh my God, maybe I am suicidal and I had no idea.
I know it was not clear that this was a sponsored test sponsored by this pharmaceutical company that shockingly sells Cymbalta, which is a depression pill.
Oh my goodness. Can you believe it? Yes, of course you can.
What?
Yeah. And then this ties into another story that came out pretty recently where the link between serotonin and depression has basically been disproven. And the review debunks the chemical imbalance theory of depression anyway. So the billion-dollar industry that is antidepressants is actually built on a lie.
They don't even freaking know what they do. That's why they have to like tweak them and take you off this one and put you on another one and take you. Look, I'm all for they save people's lives. There's some people who need them. I do think we live in an over-medicated society. If you are like not working out, not eating well, and don't have good relationships, drinking too much, they don't even ask you any of those questions. You can go in and be all of those things and a raging alcoholic and have so many problems that you could maybe try and address before you go to a pill. And they'll be like, here's 5 prescriptions for your anxiety and your depression. It's crazy.
I mean, yes, I've definitely dealt with some super dark depression. It is scary. You get help if you need it. It is not something to f around with. But
we are not doctors or a news show.
Yeah. But this is also just bullshit.
But it also is chilling how just overly medicated everybody is and how it's the first thing that we turn to is trying to take a pill instead of changing some aspect about your life that might make you feel better. Like, you know what might also make you feel better? Getting off your couch and going outside and taking a 20-minute walk every day. That might start making you feel a little bit better than just like turning to a pill. We're all kind of like guinea pigs with this stuff. And they'll go for such high doses right away instead of not everyone. Some doctors are very conservative and they'll inch their way up, but
super high doses are
super
like
high doses.
Gnarly, scary doses right off the bat.
I love how on the ads are like, this like side effects of this pill might be like, no libido, and suicide.
Blood
You're like,
clots. Yeah,
suicide.
Isn't it supposed to prevent that?
Why is it a side effect of a pill?
Bleeds death.
It's so crazy. And then there was also this week, the CDC added the COVID vaccine to the schedule for kids, which makes me, I mean, you want to talk about breaking Bridget. Homeschool your children. Why?
The flu shot isn't mandated as part of the vaccine schedule for children.
But why? They recommend it, but why? Do you need this now to like go to public schools?
I don't know.
I'm like speechless about that. That makes me so mad that my blood boils. Because you're messing with kids. It's not tested. They don't even get that sick from COVID. They blow it off like a cold normally. So it's not like the measles or polio or anything. Like there's no proof that it actually treats the virus.
Right.
It's just, what are we f***ing doing?
And maybe getting it young as kids would help them grow up with a natural immunity to it, where COVID would just not be an issue anymore if this whole generation of kids grew up getting it. We don't know.
Most of the kids have had it.
Yeah. We just don't know.
We don't know. We do know that there's been lots of science too around some of the vaccine injuries that happen with the young people. Is it worth the like risk? I don't know. Guys, This is going to get slapped with some freaking COVID, like misinformation. All I'm saying is that we are just reporting what the CDC did. Do whatever you need to do, but
we're not even reporting it. We're bitching about it because we're not a news show.
Yes.
Yes.
Still going to get slapped with some warning about misinformation, even though it's...
And a $2,500 fine.
Yeah. This is where we're headed, folks. The darkness is upon us.